You're watching CNBC, home of the Talk All-Stars.
John Cleese is a very funny English actor. He's a very funny actor. He's a very funny German actor, American actor. He's a top-of-the-line comedy actor. Mr. Cleese, John, what do I call you? Mr. Cleese, John?
Chuck.
Chuck. Chuck co-authored a book with his former therapist entitled Life and How to Survive It. Did you start in group therapy with this? Did it ever occur to, because this subject of group therapy has come up, and not me, because I would never consider sharing anything. I mean, in fact, when I was in therapy, I made the therapist like swear on the Bible. And whenever they wrote anything down, I said, you know, because people do steal. Therapists know the Pentagon Papers, they were stolen out from Ellsberg's. But did it ever?
I had one who wanted to be a film critic.
The doctor?
Yeah, the shrink.
He did.
And every time I told him a dream, he would say, wouldn't the ending have been better if, do you see what I mean? And I felt the bit in the middle was too long. It was just terrible.
You know, you right away you make me jump to, I think it's Howard Thompson, who didn't find the Python group funny at all. Is that right? and I mean, it's really interesting how these guys write this stuff as though they're giving you some kind of objective truth, and it only shows their lack of a sense of humor. Is all it really proved. But to come back to group therapy, was it of ever any concern to you, because we've just met and I don't know what's a concern of you, did confidentiality, did privacy?
Yeah, to begin with. Because you know what the English are like. I mean, they don't, even if they know people well, they don't want to talk about emotions or anything. This is a true story. I visited my closest friend in East Africa when he was the Reuters correspondent. I spent 2.5 weeks with him. He's still my closest friend. He did not mention to me that his marriage had broken up.
Really?
That's true.
Well, no, but you went into group therapy with other people from England,
yes,
I assume, right?
That's right.
And were you yes, that's what I meant. Were you concerned about a violation of your privacy?
Yes.
Did you think it was violated at any time?
Well, it felt very uncomfortable to start with. Then you realize, of course, you've got a lot of stuff on them.
But basically, you never really went home and wondered if somebody in group was going to talk about what you said to just anybody and everyone.
I didn't. I knew that basically I trusted them. And the thing is, you don't plunge straight in. I mean, you start off sort of talking about the color of your car and that kind of thing. And then
see if that comes back to you. Do I understand you were jabbering about the color of your car the other day in group? Oh, I see. There's a leak here somewhere.
Actually, I'll tell you the funniest thing that happened in group. But I have to make this anonymous. A guy came into group one, and I
thought you're not going to share his name with us. Oh, right.
I'll give it to you later, but not on air. And this is absolutely true. He started to I was late for the first session, so I didn't get the introduction. And he started to tell us about the fact that his mother was staying with him. And when he went to the office, he used to get back to the home in the evening, and his mother had rearranged the furniture. So somebody said, sounds as though you might have a little bit of a problem with your mother. And he said, what are you talking about, problem with my mother? She's a wonderful woman. So we thought, okay, so we left that. About 15 minutes later, he started complaining about his mother again. This happened this session. It happened the following session. I can't remember what it was, what she did the last time. But every time he complained about her, we said, you're having difficulties with her. He said, no, it's a wonderful woman. The end of the session, as I was leaving, I said to him, you know, I missed the introduction last week at the beginning. What is it that you do? He said, oh, I'm a professor of psychiatry.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, you know, I have such a, there's a story I want to tell you. It's actually from the movie Fear Strikes Out. It was a story of the American baseball player Jimmy Pearsall that Tony Perkins played, and there's a great line in that movie relevant to what you're saying, but we're coming up to a break, so I only have time to compliment you on your outfit, your jacket, your tie.
My hair sticking
your
up?
hair is not sticking up,
right.
I think, but get them to make that part over there stick up a little bit. Okay. And we're going to be right back with the wonderful John Cleese.
Are you totally deranged? apologize.
All right, I apologize.
You're really sorry?
I'm really, really sorry. I apologize unreservedly.
You are presently married to an analyst, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, psychoanalyst.
No,
yeah.
I've never been married to an analyst. Is that is it? You would assume if you're married to a therapist, a psychoanalyst, that it's a little different than being married to someone who isn't a professional psychoanalyst. Is that true or not?
It's completely normal.
It is.
The only thing is, because she has to spend all day listening to these stupid problems from these awful.
Yes, I mean those other people have such stupid problems.
Stupid.
Not like ours.
And when she comes in, she compensates because she's talking as she comes in through the door.
She shares their problems with you?
No, not so much that, but she just talks because she's had to listen all day professionally. When she comes in, it's her turn.
I see. And what does she mostly want to talk about?
Well, anything.
Anything, because she
says, you know that moment at night you get to bed and you finally get the paper and you start reading, and there's this story that you're interested in. You get to the second paragraph, and she says, "I found the glove from the from the bathroom," and you say, "What?" She says, "I found the glove." You say, "What glove?" She says, "Oh, didn't I tell you I lost a glove?" Oh, good. I'm glad you
right
found
away you say something like, that moment you're lying in bed and you're reading the paper, just to show you how neurotic I am. I would never read the paper in bed, and I'll tell you why. I'd be afraid I'd get ink on the sheets. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I run into. My daughter's over there because she knows very well I won't do anything because you might get something on something. It's my basic problem in life. So,
one of the cats fell over today.
Oh, they did fall over. Did they get up?
That's what she'll say.
Did they get up?
Right. I say, "What do you mean the cat fell over?" He said, "Oh, didn't I tell you the cat fell over today?" I said, "No, I didn't tell you. Was it all right?" "Oh, yeah, it was fine. It got up and ran away." You
so that's the kind of stuff you get.
Yeah,
but yet
always the middle of the second paragraph.
And yet you're very much in love. Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Very much in love.
So we've been working as actors approximately, I guess, around the same amount of time, and I think
that you dislike filming as much as
I dislike it all.
Yeah,
yes,
and
it was interesting in reading about you that you get to a certain point, and if you just don't want to do it.
It's so boring.
It is, but that's it, isn't it?
Isn't it?
It's
they
boring.
think it's glamorous. It's
boring.
So boring.
I said the only thing I really like is this, or in the movies, actually doing it, which in the movies takes up very little time, right?
Well, I mean, even on a movie, what do? You do the master take, which is the interesting part, which lasts from 9 to 10:30, and then they put the camera there and there and there and there and there. You do the same thing again and again and again till 7 o'clock.
Well, that's not bad. I mean, the problem I ran into, I remember when I did this picture, it was my second picture, Catch 22, and we reported for work, I think, at 8 a.m., and at 5 p.m., they sent us home, and we hadn't done one thing. They were lighting the first shot, and that was it. So to me, it isn't so much the repetition as the waiting.
And the terrible thing about the waiting is you're always kind of nervous, right? Because
you're primed to go on.
Yeah, you're ready to go on. Your face is going to be up there, and if you don't get it right, you're going to look an awful idiot for millions of people. Yeah. So you can't do anything constructive.
No, you can't really do anything. You're kind of waiting there. In fact, years ago, I was doing a picture at Universal, and I was. And Albert Brooks, who's the wonderful American filmmaker, and he called me, and they said his line is busy, and he said to the operator, "We'll ring the other room." They said, "He's only in a single room up there." I mean, that's the way I treated everything. I was like monk-like for years. I was in a single room. I was always ready to go on. No, I don't miss it. I hope I never do it. And on the other hand, I want to say that Mr. Cleese, John, Chuck, Mr. Grodin, John Cleese, we are very grateful for that's what you were going to say, right?
I was going to say grateful. I hate it, but I'm deeply grateful.
We hate it, but we're very grateful for the fame and fortune that it's brought us. There's no question about it.
It's so well paid.
It's very well paid.
It's unbelievably
but it's unbelievable. I mean,
do they know how well paid it is?
No, we're talking really that much.
Serious
no, it's a lot more than cable, for example. But as I understand,
can I ask you something?
No, of course.
What are those things?
This?
Yes.
If I didn't have this, I'd be doing, well, I don't really need this. What is that anyway?
I couldn't agree more.
Why don't you ask me the questions on those cards? Right. So here's what I wanted to ask you.
What have you got against filming apart from the border?
I don't have any idea in my head what I was going to ask you. What did somebody look on the floor? Against filming what? What did you say?
Shall I tell you about the book?
The book. Didn't I say that?
No, you mentioned
Oh, I'm
the book.
sorry. The book.
The book
yes.
is not very interesting.
Tell me
I
about
wouldn't
that.
recommend
So you've
it,
written
but
a
I have-
dull book.
Yeah, a very dull book.
Well, that's the kind that sells.
And it's called, oh my God, what is it called?
You've forgotten the name of your book? Oh, it's a good one, though. It's a good book. It's How to Get Through Life. That's my book. No, my book is How I Get Through Life.
It's life.
And how to get through it.
And how to
live it.
Yes.
Yeah, very
life
good.
And, no.
Well, you know,
Survive life. No, it's not.
It's
got
about life.
No, it's got survive in it too.
Good, survive.
It's something
That's
like
good.
that.
That'll sell.
And
Survive.
it's terrific because it is an exploration of what real good mental health would be.
John, we're just losing the audience in droves. Could you describe that another way? That's better. They're coming back. They're coming back. Thank you, John. They're coming back. Much better. Much
All right.
better. Yes,
Are they
thank
back?
you.
Are
Thank
they
you.
back? Good.
Matt from Georgia, you have a question for John Cleese.
Chuck, for taking the call. I really enjoy your show.
Thank you, Matt.
John, I've always enjoyed your work in sort of ensembles. I'm curious about some of your experience building consensus with, the creative, intelligent people you've worked with when your opinions are at odds.
What is it? Are they interested, those creative, intelligent people, which you clearly are not, are they interested in your damn dumb opinion, I think is Matt from
not.
Georgia? No.
Stupid
No, they're
overpaid
not. They
actor.
keep saying, why is this stupid actor suggesting it, even though he might even be the writer?
Written a serious book.
Who cares? We've got a hard
cares?
30. See that, John? It says hard 30?
What does it mean?
That means it's hard to stop talking within 30 seconds, but we have to. No.
Where was he? Where was that?
He was
Matt?
in Georgia. See, it says Matt in Georgia. If you're still there, they're not interested in anything we say, but by sheer willpower, we foist what we want on them and get them to say what we want them to say, even if we haven't written it. That's what we do.
Buy the book.
And as a
Buy the
result of
book.
that, buy his book, How to
Buy the
Live
book.
Your Life and
Buy
Survive It at the same time. We're going to be right back with Sir John. Are you a sir? Sir John Cleese.
Buy the
You know. Can I have a thank you? John said that, but that was really very funny. Before we go on with John, I just want to remind the audience that after John, I'm going to have a personal heart-to-heart talk with my daughter and a couple of other things, and then later Laurie Beachman, who sang "Memory" from Cats, better than that, but she's going to be.
What was the tune?
Memory. Is that right? Memory? No, that's a Barbara Streisand. I got the song wrong, but Laurie Beachman, she's great, from what I understand. So this book of yours, it's not a good book, right?
No, it's not a good book.
It's like a dull book, you might say. Is that fair to say?
Dull. The subject is dull.
Yeah. See,
and it's handled.
What is the subject?
The subject is what would it mean to be psychologically a bit more healthy?
Psychologically a bit more. Oh,
healthy.
God, that is dull. And as I
Yes.
understand, you tried to make a television series, and the TV people in England, rightfully kept you off.
Have you ever tried to interest
No.
a television executive in something about ideas?
I think if you try to interest anyone in anything, you're dead in the water. The only way to get anywhere in this life is not show any interest in doing. I was actually been advised by some pretty smart people that if you want to get anything done, don't ask anyone, don't say you want to do it. Let them overhear you at a party talking about, what was that? You've got a book about how to be psychologically healthy? Have you got a publisher? Yeah. But if you actually say to someone, I've got a book that I'd like you to...
Not interested.
No, I get all my books published by not asking and just letting people overhear a conversation. So you really, as far as you're concerned, you don't care if you act again.
No, I don't actually. I'm going to make one more movie with Kevin and Jamie and Michael Palin. And one or two of the other guys from Fish Called Water, but it's not a sequel.
No, it's not a sequel. It's a follow-up.
It's a
All the
follow-up.
difference in the world. It's not a sequel. Because you know something, they won't go to see a sequel, but they'll race to see a follow-up. And that's why he's doing it that way, right?
That's right. That's
in fact,
right.
it's not a sequel because everybody plays different parts and it's a whole different story.
it's a
just
different story.
This group of actors got together to make another movie.
Exactly. We're just going to put the four faces on the poster and say, together again for the first time.
That's what you want. You mean this has nothing to do with A Fish Called Wanda?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Except I like working with those guys because they're kind of funny and also they're mean to each other in a very entertaining way.
I work with Kevin and Dave, as good as Dave as Kevin was in Dave, I always felt I should have been Dave. But that's another whole other story.
Did you think he was good?
Oh, I thought Kevin was really.
I was disappointed.
Mediocre. I was very disappointed in his performance. Yes. I was very shocked that I think my supporting role as his friend kind of was responsible for the big. Richard in New Jersey, do you have a question for Sir John Cleese?
Oh yes, I do. I thought it rather interesting, a discussion of therapy and therapists, because one of my favorite episodes of Cheers was the one where you appeared as a therapist colleague of Fraser Crane. I was just wondering, is there any possibility you might repeat the role in the new Fraser series?
Well, I haven't been asked. I must say doing that Cheers episode really was a bit of a thrill, because even if you are in the business, to be able to go in and sit at that Cheers bar is just great. And they also happen to be as nice a bunch of people as I've ever met, so it was a lovely experience. Rhea Perlman, she was so nice to me, because you get nervous. You see, the thing about going on that damn show, I did the 126, so they don't have any adrenaline running at all, right?
126 segment of Cheers.
Yeah.
Right.
So they have no adrenaline running. You're on the first time, so you're like that. Then they gave me 31 new pages 2 days before transmission.
Then you got some adrenaline.
And I had so much adrenaline. I had buckets around the chair. But of course, they needed that just to get themselves interested.
Well, now let me ask you this, because this is cable, and what did you really think of that group on Cheers? Because I thought they were a nasty.
I'm not going to say that.
No, you really enjoyed
I don't like Kevin. I don't like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Right.
I don't like Michael Palin. Have you met?
No.
Awful little man.
Yeah.
Awful little man. Can't go anywhere without a camera crew.
Ugh.
Talks all the time.
I hate him.
Talk.
Hate him.
Yuck,
Hate him.
yuck.
I've never met him, but I know I hate him.
His wife, my wife and he met in the semi-final of the British Talking Championships.
The Talking Championships?
Yes.
What are the Talking Championships?
They just talk. People sit
who
in
can
a
talk
room
the
and talk.
longest?
Who can talk the longest?
Who's left standing?
27 hours. And then Palin gave up.
And it doesn't have to be interesting, you just have to keep talking.
You just have to, it doesn't have to be interesting. You're disqualified if it's interesting.
No, that's the principle of talk shows, actually. Michael, we just spoke to you, and I thank you. That was I don't have any idea what it, Rusty from Tennessee, I guess. Rusty?
Yes, hello. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure, Rusty.
I'm thrilled to find out that you're doing a follow-up to A Fish Called Wanda. I enjoyed that very much, particularly the Russian soliloquy that you gave to Jamie Lee in that movie. And actually, my question was, how fluent are you actually in Russian? And any other comments you might have on that whole experience?
Есть силу благодатнее созвучий слов живых. Идущит непонятнее.
That's Russian, because I am Russian. That man is speaking Russian, ladies and gentlemen.
And do you know, I have no idea what it means.
No, I don't know.
The teacher said to me, do you want to know what it means? I said, I don't need to know what it means. It's actually a poem by Lermontov.
Well, Lermontov.
Lermontov.
Wasn't he involved with the Red Shoes?
Yes.
Yes. In fact, he... What, the Red Shoes? He what, directed it? He wrote it? He was the choreographer.
He played right guard.
He played right guard for the Red Shoes.
That's right.
That's what I was going to say. Rusty, thank you so much for that question. That was what was that question? Can you speak Russian? Was that the question? And you showed that you could.
I don't understand Russian. I don't understand a word of it. But like any good actor, I can parrot something off if I'm given a few minutes to do so.
Now, John, I remember from the cards that you were depressed in the '70s. Are you telling me you weren't depressed in the '80s and the '90s?
I wasn't as depressed. You know, in the '70s, I was.
Those are the '70s.
Those are the '70s. In the '80s, it was a lot better. It was kind of. And now in the '90s, my problems have gone.
And mostly from this book, really, to be honest about it. Because did you read the book yourself?
Well, I read it when it came out 18 months ago, but I haven't read it since. I should have read it before I came because I'm unable.
Before you wrote it?
Yes, I should have read it before I wrote it. But I certainly should have read it before an interview or talk show like this.
Yeah, because...
It was a very basic error not to have read it.
Well, they keep asking me, do you want to look at John's book? I said, oh, God, no. How do I get through? What is it? Because I wrote a book on how I get through life, and I wouldn't read that.
I read that.
Oh, you did? How embarrassing.
I did. Well, I saw it was on offer for 25 cents.
Well, but you can't beat it. For 25 cents, it's quite a... No, it actually saved and changed John's life.
Yes.
Anyway, we've come to the end of a delightful visit. Oh, see, I knew that was going to happen. I told everyone you can't just do 3 segments with people in this condition.
It's life and how to survive it.
Life and how to survive it. You know, it's dull, but he wrote it. I mean, go get it, and it's great, is what I meant to say. John, it's a great pleasure, and I'm sure we'll come back and we'll ask questions on those 30 cards that are on the floor.
Well, the next guest.
You've just, yes, I've done that once. You know, you've actually showed me I don't need cards. What do I need cards for? Well, of course, I know enough about you that I don't need cards, but it's a great pleasure. And I particularly have enjoyed looking at your tie.
I enjoyed being with you.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll be right back with my daughter and a private heart-to-heart talk. And then later, the singer from Cats who sings, I'm really better than that. Larry Beachman will be here. We're going to be right back. Thank you.
I know it did.